Hey,
Woohoo!
hello out there. Welcome to the Big Stompy podcast. I'm your host, James Salyers, here with my co-host, my hero, Ross Hines. Say hi, Ross.
Hi, Ross.
The classic line, the classic
Hey, you
line,
were asking for it, man. You were asking for it. So.
literally. Tonight we're joined by two very, very special guests. We have Todd, Master Guns Barnholtz. Todd, are you there?
Good evening. Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody.
First time on the podcast, Hugh Peebles. God, I hope I got that right. Hugh?
You did.
All right, Hugh. So we're all getting together tonight to talk about a couple of different subjects. The first thing we're going to do is so we're going to let everybody, we're going to go around the circle and let everybody introduce themselves, especially Mr. Hugh. We're going to start with you since you are our first timer. Tell us something about you. Tell us about how you got into cab, just whatever makes you happy. Tell us about you and gaming.
Let's see. I've been gaming since '96. Along the other tabletop games that I've played, Reaper put out this game called Cav that I like the look of it. I like the play style. And I signed up to be, I think we were called the Black Watch, and demoed it for them for a few months. But then support for the game kind of fell, and I didn't hear anything about it. Next thing I know, it's like 20 years later, I see a couple of local guys out here playing with dictators and Krakens, and I go, wait a minute, I've seen those before, and found out that Cav Boss had took over Cav and got back in touch with him and said, hey, I want to demo it here in Tennessee. He's like, have at it.
Awesome. So Hugh, tell us just real quick, what's your favorite faction?
I would have to say Riverlit.
And your favorite model from that faction? Come on now, people want to know. On the
The
spot.
Tiger.
The Tiger. Awesome.
Put
That's
him
a
on the spot.
fantastic model. Absolutely fantastic. Todd, your turn. Tell us what it's like to be super cool. I mean, Todd.
Oh man. Well, I don't know. I've gone over my cab backstory before, so yeah, I don't know. I'm going to jump to the end because I don't like these blindside questions. So I'll just say I like Terrans and Starhawk 6 for life.
Starhawk 6 for life. Awesome. Mr. Hines, are you still in Texas?
Yeah, why would I leave?
I don't
know. No. We're just been chugging along. I think here recently, I think I've said and we've recorded about how I got here to where we are now. At any rate, so here recently, as in this week, a friend of mine at the local game store that I can't really play at much because my wife has me on hard lockdown, he just gave me about $150 worth of Star Wars Legion stuff. So I've been putting that together this week. When I mean give, I mean he gave it to me. Like I haven't spent a dime on this game, and I've already got like 4 Rebel squads, a Luke, a Leia. Oh my goodness! I'm like, and they're like, yeah, come play this. I'm like, yeah, sure. Like, at some point in the like months from now, I don't know. But yeah, that's really all I've been doing as of late. As far as hobbying goes, I'm about to get fired up, obviously, with what we have in store for tonight. Going to be getting some stuff painted here pretty soon. But yeah, and so it's just everything's going. Just trying to stay afloat, I think, in the teaching world because it's a little crazy out there. But just making do. So.
All right. So real briefly, we're going to outline what the show is about, so we can get to the juicy parts. And We're always happy to field questions. So if there's anybody out there that has something they want to ask or say, just post it up in the chat, and we'll take a break and try and help you out. So tonight, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to start a series where we're kind of covering the starter squads that you get when you buy the rulebook from the Talon Games website. You get, depending on which faction you decide to go with, you're going to get 4 models included with your rules. And what we're going to have is we're going to have the two really seriously good players here kind of take those squads apart, talk about them, hammer them out. Then we're going to have Hugh bring in his perspective. We're just kind of have a little chit chat about what we like a model's work, how you might expand them, that sort of thing. Then in the second part of the show, in anticipation of virtual CavCon, we are going to we're all 4 of us have agreed to randomly be assigned a faction. So I've got a bag of tokens over here with all the factions' names written on it. We're going to draw out a faction.
Oh my
then,
goodness.
And then we're going to take that. We're going to accept the challenge to build a Cav tournament force based on that faction and assemble it, paint it up, design it, all of that stuff in time for virtual CavCon, which is the last weekend in March. So that I've been so excited for that. It's crazy. I know which faction I want to get, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to curse myself. All right. So with that, definitely stick around to the end because there's going to be a lot of talk. Once we draw the factions, I'm quite sure there's going to be a little bit of friendly banter, you might say, as we discuss how doomed everybody is. All right. So with that, we're going to start out with Mr. Ross Hines. He's going to talk about the Almirathal starter squad and tell us what's good about it. Go on, Ross.
I don't know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I'm not really ever a loss for words at this, am I? No. So we were discussing this and like originally we were gonna do all 6 tonight, and it was kind of like, yeah, just like last time we did this, we were gonna hit all these different calves, and it just didn't happen. So we picked 2, and I decided since we talked about Almirathal stuff last month, why not just kind of stay in that season and hit on them again? So the originally they didn't have a starter set because the 4 models that were out and available to them were way higher priced than everything else. And so when John switched the stats over for the Ritterlich Exels or whatever, he included a fullback, which is just a tiger that has lost some of its fangs maybe, but it is one of the units that's included in there as the heavy kind of. Most of the starter sets kind of follow a format. They have a big slugger, one of the super assaults or whatever, then they have kind of a heavy general combatant, a lighter indirect fire unit, and then a recon unit. So you'll see that theme through most of them, but there are some differences based on either model availability, John's whims, or John's whims. And so in this case, the Almirathal, though, were kind of throttled by what was available to them. And so there are 4 units. The first one kind of in the super heavy slot is a concussion. Although it's only got 10 damage tracks, so it's not technically that. It still can, do pretty well on its own. The second, as I mentioned, was a fullback, and it's compared to the Tiger, it's a very fast, speedy unit with low armor and high firepower. The indirect is a slightly heavier unit compared to some of the other factions, and that's the Bear, and it's just got 4 medium rocket pods and a lot of
heavy rockets.
They're heavy rockets, yes, I should say, but they're kind of like they're size 10s, so they're not the biggest, but they're not the smallest. But they do damage, that's for sure. And then finally, the Growler is a very expensive recon unit, but it can do everything. It also has a lot of damage tracks. So I think that's kind of the theme. If you look at the Almirathal stuff as a whole, they have a lot of damage tracks to chew through. The lowest is the Growler with 7. The Bear and the fullback have 8, and then the concussion has 10. So that's a lot of stuff to sift through compared to some of the other starter factions that have much smaller units or less damage tracks. And so I think as a whole, they actually work pretty well together in comparison, because both the concussion and the Bear feature fire control systems, which allow them to give a +1 to each other's indirect fire rolls. And they both also feature chain fire pods. So if one of them does score a strike point, it can share it with its buddy and drop that as well, and really just bring down more rockets, I guess. But yeah, and so the concussion itself is, can do both. It's kind of a beastie. It is 985 threat value, but it brings the light show. Besides its 2 rocket pods, it's got no less than 6 different laser bolt guns, and I mean, geez, it's a lot. That's a lot of light, as it were, and so it is able to really hurt somebody at the longer ranges because the bolt guns have improved range, which means it ignores the range penalties, it subtracts 1 from the range penalties at extreme and long range, I believe, and so that's
Yes.
pretty handy.
No, I was just agreeing with you. It subtracts 1.
Well, that was that pause. If anyone wants to add anything before I plow on, you know.
Todd. Todd, which one of those calves is your favorite, Todd?
For those, you know what? It's a toss-up between the fullback and the concussion. I like the fullback just because I really like speedy snipers. And you know, with the fullback, it's got a pair of heavy max, light armor, but it's pretty quick. So, but if you held a gun to my head that you had to pick one, I'd probably go with concussion, just because that, you know, the disco light show it can put on.
Mm-hmm. Hugh, what about you? What do you think? Hugh, you still there?
I'm still here.
Well, tell us which one of those
Can't get rid of me that
miracle
easily.
calves that you like.
The bear, I like it. It's just for the fact that it doesn't seem like it's got a whole lot going for it, but then all 4 of those rockets come down on you at one time, and you're like, where the heck did that come from?
So you like it for its
Oh, yeah.
indirect fire strength. Got it.
Yeah, no, and that's one of the strengths, I think, of this unit is, like, while the Ritter starter force, I know we're not going to really get into it, but as to compare, it's got a Tiamat as its fire support guy, and it's those huge rockets, but it has no way whatsoever to help it hit, and nothing in the unit can help it hit. And so it's this big, huge, scary thing that struggles to do its job. Oh, you'll hit every once in a while and really just weigh something. But I think the bear and concussion can team up really well to hit things. And then, of course, the Growler also provides EST along with ECM1 and APA1. So it has a little bit of everything. It's going to stretch its activations on what you want to do. But it has all those options in the pinch. Oh, it also has tag too, just because, you know, why not? But also, just a fun fact, the Growler and the fullback both have double time. They both, one's at speed 12 and the fullback is at speed 10. Yes. And so that gives it double time and makes it hard to hit. And yet it's kind of a heavy with, you know, the 2 big guns there, the big direct fire guns. But it's running around like it's a light unit, which is, I mean, that can be pretty scary. Now you tag it, of course, it's only got armor 5 at the first 2 tracks. So that, you know, something to be worried about. Don't get hit, use cover, and like Todd said, snipe for sure, and advantageously advance possibly.
Yeah, with the fullback without assault too, and I mean, play it like a tiger, but just maybe not quite as aggressively, you know, running in, because the armor is not going to be there to save you. But yeah, that assault too, with the pair of heavy max as your main firepower, just run and gun all day long.
And don't forget that it has rugged.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's going to help. It's also one of those rare, I say rare, at least from the homegrown Almathor designs. Also, there's not a lot of Wizzo, and so it does have Wizzo and targeting computer 1 to help, so it can really share ESTs off from that Growler. I mean, looking at this, although I would think maybe this force as a whole doesn't want to advance necessarily. Like if you look at the Templar force, man, that force wants to go run right in your face with the Crusader and the Centurion. But these guys, I think they kind of want to hang back and lob rockets at you, and then as you get closer, they'll hit you with the light show, and then the fullback, if he's still alive, will start trying to maneuver and get places where you don't expect him to be. Maybe, I mean, I don't know. It looks like that might be something to, you know, that might be part of it.
So is this an attack squad?
I like I said, looking at it, the bear The only thing the bear can do is lob rockets, which there's other forces that's what they've got. The concussion makes that better, but it's a little slower. The fullback can go anywhere it wants because of its speed, and the same with the Growler. Heck, the Growler has superior mobility and then relentless as well. Superior mobility allows it to ignore terrain features pretty much, or at least lighter terrain features, so it can get wherever it wants. So it can, you got two units that just do, wherever they want to go, they're going to go. But they feel like they're geared more towards long-range standoff combat, perhaps, than some of the other forces that feel like they want to kind of come and punch you in the mouth.
Okay. Anybody have anything they want to toss in on the Almirathal? Nobody?
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think we went over it.
All right. So,
I mean, yeah, I don't see much else that you can really, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, most of these forces are pretty straightforward. You're not going to find any like secret tricks, I don't think, but it's just looking at them and analyzing the stuff that it can do.
all right. So let's switch over to the Terran side of things. Todd, you're gonna lead us through an analysis of this Terran starter squad. What do you think?
All right. Yeah. So the Terran starter squad. Well, I've always been a Terran fan. So the star of this show, and I'm biased, I'm not going to lie, is the Starhawk 6. Probably one of the coolest looking and arguably most effective for its threat value of the mainline, we'll call mainline combat unit game. You got the pair of the heavy MRAC, so your RAP 6, combined with Assault 2, and you're moving for 7, so you can just run and gun across the field, until you get into an optimal position to bring in both the medium guided missiles. You can put some serious hurt on somebody with this thing. And with Armor 7, you're reasonably assured to, at least survive a couple of rounds. They work great in pairs. I do know that from experience. Plus with Rugged, that increases their survivability a little bit. Plus they have the standard, targeting computer 1 and Wizzo, so they get a little bit of a buff to their shots. But what I really like about the Terran faction is, for the starter set anyway, it deviates from the norm in that it actually has 2 fire support units. So you got the Thunderbird, which is your super heavy, 12 damage tracks, armor 8, relatively slow, not as slow as some of the other super heavies, but at move 6. But what's really strange is the Thunderbird being a fire support unit. Yeah, it has a pair of heavy rocket 10s, so it's got RAB 5 throwing down range with FCS and chain fire pod and all that great stuff. But where it really shines, in my opinion at least, is as a bodyguard unit for like Rasians or other big heavy rocket units with FCS. Because with a pair of heavy particle bolt guns, you've got a pair of RAB 8s that people are going to be real hesitant to try and close in and get under those the minimum range of those rockets. So if you have a fire support section hanging out in the back and a Thunderbird leading them, if you can make good use of cover, you can just almost unmolested rain malicious rockets down on people. Anybody want to interject on the Thunderbird?
It's a beast. I mean,
Yes.
it's just, there's no way around it. You can't, it's in this format with its companions. It's kind of an anchor, and the Starhawk is kind of the roving assaulter, but it's speed 6. Like, the Thunderbird speed 6. So it's pretty quick as far as, it's not the fastest out there, but it's still not going to just be sitting in the back. Like, we were talking about the concussion, it's just speed 5, which 1 inch doesn't seem like much, but it starts to add up pretty quick. But
absolutely.
those heavy particle bolt guns, they can fillet stuff. You can drop 6 damage on something without trying. I mean, oh, whoops, sorry about that. Or if you got some good overdrive, you can really get some damage pumped up. But geez. I mean, I've seen him routinely, easily just walk up and go, let's see, here's normally 2, but I overdrive, so there's 4 damage. And the other gun, there's 4. Oh, is your unit dead? I'm sorry. And you're like, but I like that one. The Thunderbird's like, yeah, I know you did, and that's why I killed it. So I mean, if the Thunderbird got a hold of a fullback, the fullback just disappears. Which one?
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely not one that you can afford to just ignore on the battlefield. That's for sure. Well, see, we covered the Thunderbird and the Starhawk, and I'm sure everybody's noticing the name trend here. There's kind of an odd duck out in the Terran starter with the other fire support unit, the Raptor, which, in my opinion, anyway, it's almost a scout unit masquerading as a fire support unit because it has EST tag. It's relatively quick. It's moves for 11, so it's got double time. Average damage tracks, so 6 damage tracks, armor 4. So it's a pretty average scout unit that just happens to be able to lob some rockets or some guided missiles at something if it really needs to. I mean, the rockets it has are only like 10 racks, so they're only doing rack 3. So unless something's damaged, you're probably not gonna be a serious threat to anybody. But what's really cool about it, being that it is a fire support unit, is it frees up that 75% ratio of having to dedicate a scout unit to a fire support section, by already bringing EST to it. So then if you, want to throw it in there in the scout role, so it can, use its actions to target lock and share that target lock, then it can do that. So in my opinion, it's almost a boon that it can free up, if you want to take a heavy support, attack section, or not attack section, sorry, but like a heavy support attack unit, and still maintain, squad integrity as far as how the rules.
Right.
Yeah, I think too. Just to interject real quick, I think in the context of this force, the starter force, what it does is it allows the Talon 2 to run unmolested and run ECM nonstop and move. Your Talon 2 gets freed up from EST support compared to, like, say, the Almathro force, where the Growler is doing it has to choose, am I going to move to get double time and stay alive, and then am I going to do ECM, APE, or EST? What am I, you can only pick one. Whereas here, it's like the Raptors over here saying, hey guys, I've got EST duty, Talon 1, you go be annoying with ECM. And I think that gives you another angle that you can play as the Terrans, compared to some of the other most of their forces, with the exception of, I believe, the Templars, have only one EST unit. The Templars have 2 because the Crusaders are really odd duck and has it, but whatever. That's another session, I guess.
So let's get Hugh in here.
Yeah.
Hugh, of these Terran cabs, which one do you favor? Which one do you like?
I would say the Starhawk, just because it is the not switchblade, but it's the Swiss Army knife. It's the one that kind of keeps the squad together. Whereas, the Thunderbird and the Raptor, they're lobbing stuff as they get on the board. The Talon, it's got to run up there quick so it can be useful for the squad. But the Starhawk, he's already picking his targets and he's shooting at them as he sees them. It kind of peppers the enemy up for the rockets to start hammering away on them. And then, of course, if somebody makes the mistake to get too close to the Thunderbird, like Ross said, 2 shots, overdrive, poof, you're gone.
As long as you don't burn out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and going back.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, James.
No. Please talk.
I was going to say, going back to the Talon 2, like Ross mentioned. Nice thing about the Terran starter too is with the Raptor and the Talon 2, you have 2 EST options. So if for whatever reason it's more advantageous for you to have the Talon running EST, so that the Raptor can be freed up to do something else. Maybe it needs to, it's got really good shots with its guided missiles and its tag or whatever have you. There's a lot of tactical options with the Terran starter, at least from what I can see.
And it seems to me for both of these starters that all of these calves are things that you would buy when building an Almirathil or a Terran force. Anyway, none of these are sort of niche calves. They're all mainline, the sort of thing that you're going to field in any non, how can I put this, non-niche list. I mean, if you were building something that, to did like mechanized infantry or something, there might be some of these guys you'd pass on so you could go down that particular path. But in general, if you were making a tournament list, I feel like all of these calves are front and center in terms of things you would buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
They're for sure.
all
Yeah.
core units.
So centrist sort of thinking there. Great. I
Right.
mean, it seems to me the sort of thing that I would be happy to get, especially for free. Absolutely for free.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. And if
Yeah.
you're getting into the game, like here plugging, haha. For sure, it's a good value. Like any of the starter forces are good starts, and because that's what they are. But you'll see yourself, especially like with Terrans, you're like, hi, Starhawk 6. Yeah, I'll be using some of those. Might get a
Yes.
couple more, while I'm at it. A
Yes.
Thunderbird could be a little corner case, but because of its price. But even still, you can find work for him to do for you. I mean, there's nothing that you're like, oh, I don't need this guy, So
All right. So we've covered the two factions. Real quick, we're going to have an impromptu beauty pageant. All right. So, Todd, you're a judge in the Cav Starter Pack Beauty Contest. Which of our contestants are you picking as Miss Cav? Which Cav do you think is
Starhawk
the best
6,
looking?
hands down.
Starhawk 6. All
Yeah,
right.
Starhawk. It's an Apache helicopter with legs. Awesome.
All right. Your turn. You're the second judge on this particular beauty pageant. Which of our 8 calves do you think is a finalist?
Mm,
Words?
I'd like to say the fullback, but I'm gonna go with the concussion.
Gonna go with the concussion. All right, I like that. Mr. Hines, you have any
Concussion
idea
is
what
pretty
question?
sexy, I will admit.
It is.
Oh,
You have any
man.
idea what kind
Yeah,
of
no,
question I'm gonna ask? Come on now.
Yeah, I already know what you're gonna ask. I'm gonna pick option. Let's see, G. No, I don't know. No, I mean, as much as for me, it's between Starhawk and Concussion, but I think just for overall, quote unquote sexiness, I think the Starhawk takes it. The Concussion has that kind of like, I don't know, I'm so ugly, my mom loves me, or I don't know, something like that. Like it's got its looks. I really enjoy it. I mean, I don't know, but at the same time, the Starhawk just has that iconic vibe. I think that you see, this game has a couple of units that are kind of iconic units you're going to see them in a lot of places, and there's other mecha games and other systems that they just have a few of those models and art that you're just like, crap. Like it just brings you back to the table every time.
The Starhawk 6 is definitely an iconic looking cav, and as much as I want to be the Russian judge and pick the bear, I would be being dishonest if I didn't say that I thought the Starhawk 6 was the best looking cav out of this pile. So I guess we have a winner.
It has great aesthetics,
It does.
It just looks like what you would think like today if tomorrow they announced that Boston Dynamics designed a walking tank. I would think the Starhawk 6 would be pretty close to what they came up
with. Yeah. So Talon Games Online is asking no Rhino love. I don't think there's a Rhino in these starter packs. Is there, Talon Games? This is not worldwide. This is just from the starter packs. Out there in the chat, if you have an opinion, vote. Type in the name of the cab that you think is the best looking from these from amongst these starter pack cabs. Let us know what you think.
I do love
the Rhino,
that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Actually,
yeah,
James, the Rhino 2 is in the Ritterlick starter pack.
Yeah, but we're not talking about Ritterlick tonight. We're talking about Almirathil. We're talking about Terrans. This is just
dirty vampire fangs to yourself.
Yeah, seriously. Wait till we take. That's in the Euro division. We have to get to the Euro division before they get a chance. All right. So that being said, we've covered the starters. I don't see anybody have any questions you want to ask these guys here? These are the big brains. Come on now. T-Bird then. Talon Games is voting on the T-Bird. And Ilmarin wants to know why the Javelin didn't win. Javelin? Do we have a
That's
Javelin?
Adon.
Yeah.
Javelin's an
Again,
Adon, yeah.
these write-in votes don't count. All right. wait for it. Next month we'll cover
We
a couple of
validated
different
your ballot.
stars. Yeah, seriously. All right, so I think that brings us down. The mushroom cav. What is he? This Talon Games online
Mushroom.
guy in the chat. We may have to ban him or her. I'm not sure who that is, but
He's probably talking about stuff that we haven't even looked at yet.
seen. It's kind of worrisome. All right, so
No fair using insider knowledge.
I want him to tell us insider stuff. That's my favorite thing about listening to John. All right. So now we're going to move on to the section where we're going to start to talk a little bit about virtual CavCon. So still the schedule, the outline, all that belongs to John. Can't really speak to that. I can tell you it's going to be the last weekend in March. But what I can tell you is that Ross had this really, really fun idea. He wanted us to randomly draw factions and then build our forces and then put them together and assemble them and put them out there so we can make some noise and get everybody excited, hopefully about virtual CavCon. That's what we're going to do here in just a few minutes. I guess I'm going to go around in a circle and I'm just going to ask everybody from amongst the 7 factions, which would you prefer? If you could choose a faction instead of getting randomly assigned, which one do you want, Hugh?
Ritter.
You'll take Ritter. Coincides with your favorite faction. So what you're really saying is you want to paint a Ritter force. You're not tired. You said earlier Ritter was your favorite, so you're not tired of painting them. You don't want to reach out. You don't want to expand and try some Adon. Nothing like that.
No, because I paint them all.
Okay. You're just ready to paint some more Ritter. Todd, what are you looking forward to?
Oh, man, you know what? I've done, except for Almathril, I think I've painted one of each faction so far.
Right.
At least, Terran being mercenary. So I haven't done Ritter yet. So if I had to choose, I'd probably say Ritter, but I would be happy with any of them.
Awesome. Ross?
Pass. No, to be honest, I've got forces for and when I mean forces, like I got lots of crap for every single faction, and so I think mine is more like what I hope I don't get, and probably it's more of it's a little harder to make Terran forces using the rule of 5 for them. In the tournament setting, and then rock, whatever. I'd have to go in and look. I know they got some new models and stuff, but they're the ones that I struggle building something that I like as far as effectiveness goes. But for the rest of them, like I'm comfortable like with most of the units I have, or I've found some builds that I enjoy. So yeah, I mean, I guess I'll flip your question around and say that I probably, crossing my fingers, it won't be rock or Terran, but I'm sure I'll get one of those too because I said that.
Now that you told me, you can almost guarantee.
Yeah.
For me, I've only ever painted up one rock model, and so my list design methodology is which mechs look good. All right, I'll take those. Now, how do I build the list? I'm certainly not building, at least not in this tournament, something designed to win. So I'm just going for the look, and I kind of hope I get rock because I've been looking online at some of the paint jobs that I'm pretty sure Todd did, and I'm like, wow, those rock look pretty sweet. So I kind of hope I get rock, but I guess we'll find out.
If they're red and black, yeah, I probably get them.
That's the one. You know the one I'm talking about. All right. So now I've got the bag here with all the tokens in it. Lovely dice bag. I wish we had a host or a hostess that could come in and do the drawing for us, but we're going to go into this bag and we're going to draw Hugh. We're going to make you go first because you're our special guest, special guest. All right. Here we go. Drawing the chit. This is the one. Adon. I don't know if you can read this, but Hugh, you drew Adon.
Yay.
Cheers. Good for you, Hugh. All right.
Space elves.
No mix for days. Yeah.
the high space elves.
Yes.
Yeah.
The ones that are
Oh,
fair skinned.
Hugh, I'll save the trouble. At least one section of Chieftain 2s. That's it.
Yeah,
Everything else
chieftains
is
are fantastic. All right.
chieftains and what's the big one? The big tank with the medium Mac or the heavy Mac.
Commander 2s.
The Commander 2s. That's what I meant. Yeah. So a section of Chieftain and a section of Commanders. Everything else is irrelevant.
Irrelevant. Don't even need to bring anything else. Just 2 sections.
Wow.
All right. Todd, here we go. Are you ready? The reveal
Yep.
is Ritter. Todd gets Ritter.
Sweet. Okay. That'll work.
Exactly what he asked for. All right. Here we go. Pines. You've never painted Templars, have you?
Never, ever.
Never. I didn't think so. All right, Ross, you get Almirathil.
Yay.
Yay. All right.
So,
and last,
just to clarify,
yeah,
this has to be a new force, not one you've painted already,
correct.
right?
The idea
Right,
is,
okay.
yeah, it's got to start from scratch. You can already own the models, obviously. I don't care where you get the models from, but start from scratch, take pictures, post up your thoughts, go into Discord, go into Facebook, let people know why you bought the things you bought, why you designed the things you designed, and then show us your work in progresses, that whole 9 yards. I mean, the idea is to make some noise. We want to make virtual CavCon to be the most exciting thing we can possibly do. And this is like our, when a big movie's coming out at Christmas, right? You start seeing the trailers in October and then more trailers in November. This is that. We're the trailers for virtual CavCon. All right, here we go. What am I going to get? Dun, dun, dun.
Rock. Oh, sorry.
Malvernus. I'm doing Malvernus.
Ooh.
All right, no rock at all.
Interesting.
Malvernus. All right. So all right? Right off the top of your
Use the
head.
pillager. You've already started.
I'll start another one. I'm okay with that. Oh yeah, that's those guys. The ones I did the Nebula schemes for.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
that
the
faction.
Banshee, right?
Yes. Yeah, they have
That's it.
Banshees and
24 Banshees.
Poltergeist
Done.
and,
That's it. Just all Banshees.
well, except that with the tournament rules, you can only have
Only have 12
12
models.
Banshees.
12 Banshees.
There you
not
go.
enough.
You give yourself a handicap, a little handicap.
Yeah. I just love
We
the
can
blue.
show some. What are the quad rocket guys they have?
Haunt?
Quad-legged rocket guys.
Is that a haunt?
Is that a haunt? Yeah.
Yeah.
Haunts
No,
are
yeah,
decent.
the spiders. Yeah, the spider guys. Yeah,
CavCon.
No.
they're nice looking.
They are. Ross, you painted the one up for the Kickstarter 3 promo, right? The
Yes.
purple and black
Yes,
one?
I did.
Oh, that is.
Yep.
That's a beautiful model.
Oh,
I
plus,
sold Tom's scheme.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. But
All
they have the Revenant too. Probably one of the better super heavies.
All right, so let's go around real quick.
Yeah, they're solid.
Ross, right off the top.
What?
Name me the one model you know is going to be in your list. Just one model. Almirathil.
Oh crap! What's its name? Oh, dadgummit! It's one of those import models.
So the fullback.
No, the Rhino
Hammer?
clone. Hammer.
The hammer.
Hammer.
All right, so we're going to see
Yeah.
a hammer from you, which is a modified Ritter Rhino, right? Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd, what are we getting from you? Name one model you can guarantee is going to be in your force.
Oh, the Rhino. The Rhino is the core of any Ritter force.
All right.
Hands down.
So far, all we're ordering is rhinos. There's rhinos everywhere. You,
That's the way we like it.
what kind of Adon model are you going to go with?
Hard to say. I mean,
Is there anything you just like the look of? Honestly, I have trouble remembering all the models, so I'm very lucky to have gotten Malvernus because I have one favorite.
I mean, the icon of Amorthrill is the ogre, I should say.
Okay.
Of Adon. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you drew
Adon.
Adon.
I really like the look of the Chancellor.
Enforcers.
Too. I mean,
Oh yeah, Chancellor's real solid.
It's hard to say at
pricey,
this
but
point. I
man.
mean,
I don't know. Good.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm
Heavy,
definitely probably
super
going to
heavy
have
anchor.
I
Definitely
don't
what
know. I
you?
mean, yeah, I'm definitely going to have an ogre in there. I may have a dervish or two as well.
Okay.
Kind of neat having them run around.
All right. Well, as for me, I can guarantee I'm going to have a banshee, minimum one squad of banshees. In fact, if I could find a way to do all tanks, I'll probably just do all tanks, but I'm not sure that's possible.
Are you going to
Um,
follow the rule of 5?
Are
For
they a
him?
five?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to
Yeah,
build a
they
tournament
are a 5.
force, right? So
Okay.
I mean, so that's the other thing. We're going to follow strictly the CAV tournament force construction rules, which I believe are 4,500 points, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And then there was, is there another restrict? Oh, so you're allowed to have aircraft?
12 unit max. Yes, the rules that were going to be used for last year's CavCon 2020, curse word that it is, included aircraft for the first time. If you want to, they don't have to.
Right.
You know.
But it's an option. Whereas in the past, prior to that, we were just limited to vehicles and cabs, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Correct.
All right. Interesting. Aircraft. I'll have to give that some thought.
Well, the Malvernus have. Yeah, you got Malvernus, right? So
Yes.
they have the.
Yeah.
Oh, the gas. Yeah,
I know it. Yeah, the gas.
Super gunboat.
I'll have to check that one out. Is that the one with
Yeah.
the downturned tail wings?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, with the pair of
They're not
MRACs
friendly.
and
Yeah.
no, they are mean little bastards to deal with.
All right.
Yep. Ironically enough, though, they struggle at air to air, but that's fine.
Yeah, no, they're definitely ground support.
Oh yeah. If
So they
another
have,
aircraft shows up that can wax them, another aircraft can get in there and box them up real good because
Right.
they can't respond very well.
because their max
their weapons.
have strike and can't hurt soft targets,
No,
right?
no. MRACs just are really weak against soft targets.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't
so
understand.
you're throwing like damage 3 against, if you're getting some aircraft is like armor 5 or something, you're like, oh, I'm already dropped 2 before anything.
You got to roll good just
Whereas
to break
another
even.
aircraft might have guided missiles or autocannons or something else, and it just laughs at you and goes and just hurts.
Interesting.
But I played with them a few times here in Dallas, and they earned their keep on the ground units, that's for sure. They were smoking guys, so.
Awesome. Hey, Thunderhead Studio, nice to see you here tonight. Like I said, for me, I'm going to include Banshees and is the Shadow the little recon cab that they have? Yeah.
Yeah. Shadows are nasty as well.
I will tell you some experience I've had with Malvernus. So that the Butcher, that's the guy with the twin MRACs, right?
Yes.
He's Malvernus. He has no ammo bin. I have run out of ammo every time I have put that guy on the table. And I'm not kidding. This is not some, most of the time, some of the time, 3 times. Every time I have fielded the Butcher, I have run out of ammo every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be no Butchers probably in my force.
Aw.
I say that.
But they look so nice.
Yeah, they do. They're great looking.
Yeah,
That's why I painted them up. It's like these guys look beautiful.
There's a new
Malvernus. I think the one model from them I'm waiting to see is the Mogwai.
That's the thing with like 6 rockets or something.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
6 rockets.
That's the one Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one Brandon took at CavCon 19.
Yeah, I fought that force. That was a hell of a game. He on turn 1.
Make it rain.
Yeah, he literally on turn 1 deleted a cav that was fully healthy. On his turn 1, before I ever even went, he deleted a cav with indirect fire. That was a heck of a
Well, he was bringing.
That's why John changed it.
Yeah.
No, I think he had one model,
it gives
but he had a bunch of other
Tiamat a run
stuff.
for its money.
It was horrible. Because I played that Force 2, I think, and I baited him to move out, and then I was able to delete the Magua over 2 turns with my fire support, I think. But it was one of those nail biters. Like, okay, who's getting who first? Oh crap!
That was the game I've talked about it at least a dozen times. But once I realized he could do that, I just rushed him, and we literally fought in his deployment zone. There were at least 6 dead models in his deployment zone. That's where the fight took place.
Oh, you had those Templar tanks, didn't you? The hover tanks.
Yeah, the Spathas.
The Spathas, yeah. I remember looking over behind me.
Yeah.
During that game, it was like, holy crap!
That was my
favorite models dead everywhere.
Yes,
I think they were chasing each other there at the end. Yeah,
literally.
Because he had a bunch of those razors, and so y'all were playing tag after you took out the Magua and the fire support stuff.
It turns out those razors versus tanks are actually very dangerous because the razors are much better at close combat than the tanks are. The tanks obviously suck at close combat, and so he was kicking the crap out of my poor hover tanks. But that was a spectacular game. Man, I hope.
You know what? And honestly, the rule of 5 with Malvernus just lends itself really well to taking razors or razor V2s, and just running them as a little wolf pack. They're murder.
They're murder machines. Yeah. So Ross,
I think the issue. Okay, yeah, go for it.
I was just going to say, after we get off the stream here, I'll send you the $20 to make my list, right?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. If you want, I'll be doing without the Force program because I had to finally update my Mac to Catalina, which is a 64-bit deal, and it won't run the stupid program, which is me off to no end. But it's so I'll be doing it by hand.
Do we need to send you a real PC?
Yeah, telling you.
But yeah, I'm on my school. School chose for me, not me. So it's just whatever they're giving me. And they drank the Kool-Aid, and so I resisted upgrading as long as possible, and then finally I got an email from our tech guy on campus that said, "If you don't, we will." And I was like, "Oh, okay, gotcha."
Just dodge the tech guy for the next year and a half.
He did it by email, so we're not allowed to dodge that.
Pretend like you didn't get it. Come on, man.
Yeah.
All right, Hugh. So have you ever played Adon before, Hugh? You ever run them before?
I've not. I mean, I run. Ritter has been my favorite just because who doesn't like space vampires? Especially when they're German space vampires.
No. We don't like them.
With telepathy.
So.
I mean, let's face it. The RPG background for Ritter is just scary as F.
You know, when you put it like that, Hugh, it makes them sound really bad.
It does. I mean, it was just plain dark.
Yeah.
Right. So not a ton of experience with Adon. So I'm especially interested to hear what you have to say as your thought process works through how do I build a tournament force out of this faction that I don't have a ton of familiarity with. I'm looking forward to seeing what you have to say.
Well, after playing you and Todd and seeing what Ross can do with a well-designed force, I've actually got to sit down and put some thought into it because, you know, usually it's just like, all right, let's grab these units, put them together and see how they work. But now it's like, okay, Todd's going to take these little tanks here and try to surprise me. So I need something to deal with little tanks, but at the same time, he's going to have a couple of big heavy units and, well, darn it, I don't have my Tigers now. So what can work in the place of Tigers? And then,
Commander 2,
you know, and then Ross there, it's like, what do I do to come at Ross? It's like he's already thought of everything. So you think outside of the box to hopefully surprise him and catch him unaware. And you know, it's probably going to be a good game when he comes up and he's like, you know what? I didn't think that could be done. Hey, nice job.
I'm telling you my strategy against Ross or Todd or anybody, but especially those two. My strategy is roll sixes. I just roll sixes all day long. That's my plan.
Hey, there you go. Not much you can do against that.
That's right. If I just show up,
I need
loaded
critical
dice.
successes all day long.
Hey, no loaded dice.
I'm not saying I'm going to get sixes. That's just my plan. Plans rarely survive contact with the die roll. That's my strategy.
So I think the next thing too. I mean, force construction is very important, but I mean, for me, the hobby is also very important. James, are you going to continue with your nebula scheme and just add on to that existing force? Or are you going to pick a new scheme and work with that?
So that's what I want to do, because I've got basically a sort of a demo force of Malvernus painted up in that nebula scheme, stuff I would take to the local shop, be fully painted, look good, teach people how to play. But I also have this idea that on Monday nights, the little stream that I do for Talon Games, maybe just letting the people there kind of help me decide what they look like. There's this crazy person in the in my Monday night chat that wants to paint some kind of crazy pebble camo that I've never seen before, and if he's dedicated enough, I might go for that. I'd rather do the other one, but I'm trying to make the people happy, so we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Hugh, what about you? Any ideas off the top of your head, or
As far as what, paint schemes?
Yeah, paint schemes.
I don't know. I mean,
it's a perfect time. It's a perfect time to plug this, because John Cavboss today posted on most of the social media sites that he just put up the Excel sheet that has a list of the quote unquote official schemes and units in the Cav universe. It's not exhaustive. It's not everything. But if you're interested in that sort of thing, it is there to look at, and so you can get a feel of what different factions look like, or you might find a combination that you might like. And that wasn't really to you, Hugh. That was kind of the folks at home or YouTube or wherever this ends up.
Nah, that's fine.
That was
CavJournal.com. To paint something.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Hugh. Ignore me. Go ahead.
No, he's got in the chat. Cav Boss posted the Talon Games. He posted the link to it.
Okay.
He'll probably post it again here in a
Thanks,
second.
John. Yeah. But that might give some inspiration. But for all and for sure, do your own thing too. I never want to tell people like, oh, that doesn't look Adon enough because it doesn't have pointy ears pasted to the side or something.
Well, I mean, we could always, since they are the UN force, I could just paint everything baby blue and be done.
Well, yeah.
That works for me.
Yeah. Todd, what about you? Yeah. Ideas?
Oh yeah, no, I've already decided. I'm going with my my black tri-stars. I've only done one.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I did.
Oh, sorry.
Two units of them. So
I was hoping you were going to do them. Yeah.
I'm going to. I've been meaning to for years now, and now I finally have a reason to.
Yep.
So I'm not familiar with
the one
scheme.
That's like it's like black and gray camo with purple highlights. Is that the one?
Yes. Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Yeah.
Inspired directly from Gundam. I'm a huge Gundam fan.
There we go, James. It's the Wolverine. I think if you look on the Facebook groups.
Okay.
It's got that camo, like a urban camo look, and then it's got the purple highlights or something. It's really sharp.
Yeah,
I know. I've been bugging. I was bugging him years ago to paint it. Yeah, I've been bugging him for years to paint up a full force of that, and he's always like, I don't know, need mercs in my life. Oh.
All right. So Ross, what about you? What are we getting out of you?
That's easy. I'm going to do that orange and green half and half scheme. I really enjoyed painting. Yeah, the Cobra and the Concussion. I don't know if I'll use either of those units, but I really enjoyed painting that, and it was a new kind of way for me to paint. And I feel like I painted faster than I normally do, but I could be wrong. I don't know. We'll see. However long it takes to get through the project. So.
All right, so to summarize here, so I'm going to be painting Malvernus in an unknown paint scheme. Mr. Ross is painting Almirathil in an orange and green sort of split scheme, vertical split, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Todd is painting a camo scheme that I've not seen. Urban, so it's black and white, purple highlights. Is that what I heard?
Black and gray with purple
Black and
highlights. Yeah,
black and gray with purple highlights. I'm sure that'll look fantastic.
Yeah.
And Hugh is undecided for his Adon faction, but maybe something we don't know yet. Hugh's yet to decide. Now I encourage everybody, as soon as you have any kind of a thought, like, okay, I'm here's a squad. I'm committed to putting a squad of banshees in my force. Post it, talk about it, let the people hear your thought process, develop it, throw it out there, chit chat. We need to make more noise. And for those of you who are in the chat or who might listen to this later, if you're interested in CAV, you're interested in virtual CavCon, you could do the same thing. Make a force and paint along with us. Download the rules, the First Strike rules from Talon Games website. Read them. If you have questions, ask. Over on the Discord, I created a channel for virtual CavCon. Come over there, hang out, tell us what you're thinking in terms of a force. Even if you can't, for whatever reason, you can't get around to painting it, design one. What would you have taken? What was your thought process? But it's certainly, if you can, go ahead and order those models, or if you've already got them from the Kickstarter or wherever, put them together, paint along with us. That way we can all be in sync. And when Virtual CavCon gets here, we can have a gallery of things that people worked on, that they painted, new schemes, new ideas. That's the idea. I mean, it's our community, and so it's up to us to live it, to promote it, to help each other, to encourage one another, to participate. I mean, this is all a game that we all like. It's kind of our job to enjoy it, to get in there and just revel in it, to have fun. I wish we all lived close enough that we could have, like Saturday afternoon paint-togethers, but we don't. So this is what we have in its place. That's what everybody needs to do, I think.
I agree. Clap, clap. Well can't hear it over my phone, but yeah.
All right. Stack of Commander 2s on Ilmarin's desk right now. Cthulhu, yeah, Cthulhu. I saw that you got your Templars done. I saw the post of them, and I saw a bunch of red rock with a white racing stripe. Those looked fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw those today too.
Talent Games in the chat says there's going to be a painting contest during the show. So this force you're working on with this, that can be your entry for the contest. Join the Discord, hang out with us on Facebook, listen to the podcast, come by, participate on, Monday nights. There's the Hangout and Hobby stream, and then Terrain Tuesdays with John, Wednesdays, two old men getting together and being grumpy together about Cav, maybe. I don't know. I'm not grumpy. I'm never grumpy. Somebody's grumpy, but we won't mention him. Might summon it. And then Saturday streams with it's funny. I heard somebody call Mr. Chris Lewis Crisp Lewis because his models were crisp. So that's his new nickname as far as I'm concerned. His name is Crisp, not Chris. Very, very small distinction, but it's important. So he's on Despot 2. Not sure what Talon Games is. Maybe he's chatting with somebody. Saturday afternoon at 2 Central Standard Time, Crisp Lewis will be on to sculpt on stuff. I think he's finishing up that Mastodon Mammoth Olifant mech that he's been working on. And then John said he's going to move over to the Rogue Legion stuff, the new system that John's working on, the 28mm version of Cav stuff, I think. That's what's going on this upcoming week. The Big Stompy podcast will be back the third Thursday in February. It's kind of like Thirsty Thursday, but we don't get to drink because, some of us are, we're old. But I want to reach out to all of the guests here and thank them for showing up. Ross, Todd, Hugh, especially you for jumping in first time, helping us out. I've had a good time. I enjoyed learning about the starter forces. Yeah. Todd, you got something to say? Anything you want to close us out?
Yeah, it's always a blast joining you guys.
Okay. Look forward. Hopefully, I mean, the open invitation is there for Todd and Hugh anytime they want to come on. You're stuck with me and Ross. Could be worse. At least you get Ross. All right. So that's 9 o'clock. Anybody in chat got anything they want to talk about? Yeah. See, nobody. I mean, people are chit chatting, but I don't think they necessarily have any questions for us.
They tuned us out. That's fine.
Well, I'm not sure that happened. Maybe they did.
I tuned myself out, so
All right. So look for us to post. I mean, even as soon as tomorrow, our initial thoughts about what we like the look of, what we might include in our force. Look for us on the Cab headquarters Facebook page, especially over on Discord. Come to the virtual CabCon channel. Maybe on Instagram. Some of us are on Instagram. I know. I think Ross is on Instagram. Talon Games is on Instagram. Just look for us everywhere. We're going to try and make a lot of noise, and we need you to help us make that noise too. We need more Cav players. We need more people to hang out with. So let's be inviting. Let's be loud. Let's have a good time. All right, guys. I think I'm going to sign off.
all right.
Anybody? Hugh? One last word?
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds good. That's a good podcast. Thanks for joining us all. Good night.
Good night.